Hello, good evening. You're welcome to GHOne Television, and this is News Tonight, where we bring you updates from across the country and things that have happened in the last 24 hours. My name is Patrick Stevenson.
And I am Kemini Amano. First off will be our top stories. Minority in Parliament today boycotted proceedings after Cash for Seats report cleared the Ministry of Trades and Industry of any wrongdoing. We'll have a conversation on this tonight.
Again tonight, we ask whether Facebook is becoming a medium for ritual money and other things rather than global interaction. Alice Aite dives into the lives of Sakawa boys and the fleeting promises of some rich spiritualists. You don't want to miss out on this one.
In his maiden State of the Nation address, President Akufo-Addo promised to put the economy on the path of growth. Now tonight, we continue with a series of stories ahead of Thursday's Sona. This time, we will look at how the economy has been managed.
And on E-Zone tonight, Burger High Life icon Charles Kwadwofosu alias Daddy Lumba heads to court to battle an imposter. We'll bring you developments on that and how it's turning out.
Glad you're still with us here on News Tonight. In our first story, the advent of technology has massively improved how businesses, organizations, and religious bodies communicate with the outside world. If you're a Facebooker, chances are you have received at least one message from a spiritualist promising you financial freedom. Now, these spiritualists, popularly referred to as Malam or Juju men or women, for that matter, reach out to young people with the promise of making them rich in our otherwise struggling economy. The prerequisite for this quick money is far from easy, yet some young people fall prey. In this report, Alice Aite takes a peek into the lives of Sakawa boys and the fleeting promises of spiritualists.
You are an ardent user of Facebook or any of the social media platforms, perhaps you might have received a friend's request from one or two spiritualists. These spiritualists usually present to you the solution to all of life's problems and sometimes engage you in a conversation. In times past, identifying the whereabouts of spiritualists was a huge task. You have to travel miles into the bushes before you can secure the services of one. But interestingly, this is not the case anymore. All around the capital, in towns and villages, spiritualists are boldly advertising their services to the public. From promising to give clients the best love potions, to woo that man or woman, or doubling your money overnight, these spiritualists have not been left out of both the traditional and digital advertising space. And they are everywhere, on TVs, radio, billboards, and the internet. But do these spiritualists possess the very powers they claim to have? 27-year-old Kofi Mensah, not his real name, after a botched trip abroad to seek greener pastures, could not handle the pressures of society and decided to seek help from a spiritualist. He tells me his quest to get rich at all costs landed him in the abode of a spiritualist who claimed to have powers to double his money and make him rich quickly. After consultation with the spiritualist, Kofi then decides to adhere to the terms and conditions spelled out, damning the consequences of his actions.
Beginning, I used 1,005 for the money distance. Put it in the box and start using some words and pushing the box just like that. So he gave me powder to put it in my hand. So after he was saying that, and I'm also spreading the powder. After that, it's a lot of money, not small money in the box. So he told me we have to do some sacrifice before we use the money. And I asked him about how much is the sacrifice. He told me 2,500. I said, wow, how 2,500? Even the money I gave you is not for me. I went and borrowed it from someone. How do I give you 2,500? I can't do it. And he told us we have to do it before the next 2 days.
Sadly, Kofi never got his money doubled and had to battle with the torments of evil spirits every day.
He asked me to buy a pot. After that, I should buy egg and bag and padlock. He put the money inside the pot for me. Within some few months, the money will be okay for me to use it. Since the day I brought that pot home, I don't feel free to. I see things like, I think I've been like, it's something hunting me, seriously. I can be there, I can sleep from, let me say, let's take 6 to 11:30, 12. That place is what I can't sleep till the next morning. You will see that thing will be like, people are hunting you. First will be a human being, second will be a different person. Maybe the second formula will come in like a form of lion. After the lion, you see fire burning. I can sit down like this, see the things real in my face. I don't know whether they are in the room or not.
Just like Kofi, the quest to become rich overnight has led many young people to engage the services of spiritualists, putting their lives and that of their families at risk. There are the blood sacrifices and several outrageous conditions like not walking in the rain and bathing for a period of time. News about spiritualists duping people of their monies have filtered the airwaves for months, yet this has not deterred many from still seeking their services.
So we say scan BPR and I'm a boy, a Jumazunio, and this will be a cat say 10 million, 15 million. I'm will be busy on Poma Koji. Aquacoyan scano. So I say me young Kumako Compoma, Ebekum, because I don't am bad. We are similar. Oh, mammy, a Fessica Samon Quad, okay, Samin Ku, Giant Quanisca Beba. Maye efise sika nkoa medenye nipa wansemo efa mwa metumanya de a metumanya sika de how say menye efise sika sema na ye bre mama confirm say maye because me say see no me gina on kram say obi ga say me medi sika duro na say enye nipa nkoa de a medi because ahokire nkoa na ye hokire because situation na ye wo mu ye hu bibi papa bia every mother but see I na me gino so because I mean 5,000 and maybe 2,000 I confirm say I was same here because me wa ho chirem.
But is it indeed possible for someone to become rich overnight?
Obi ga me 5,000 bra normal me 5,000 nipa na misre na onko nyama na busuafo de ti ameka sa ne say adenti na ukra 5,000 a ode semikwa 5,000 na me de ma wa be 10,000 on what basis adwuma ben ti ena ma wo kasa de oben ti na ma wo kasa me de minimum ne say o started from nowhere o be end up somewhere.
Professor Christopher Von Kujovi is the founder of the African Magic Temple in Ghana, and he dispels the activities of spiritualists who claim to have money doubling powers.
Some of these charlatans, I may call them, or thieves, pretenders who call themselves spiritualists, are they real spiritualists? Our people are greedy. If you are not greedy, no one is going to get you. Whether it's 419 or it's Sakawa, it is spiritual. If you are not greedy, no one will get you. You will not come to me and say, oh, I will double money for you. I will make you I'll make you rich. If I can make you rich, why won't I make myself rich?
Despite a disclaimer by the Traditional Medicine Practice Council on spiritualists doubling money and involving in magical practices, the act is still rife, with many now advertising on social media, enticing followers with pictures of money. The registrar of the council, Togbega Yaka IV, says his outfit will intensify its special monthly enforcement exercise to ensure that practitioners that have been licensed and registered under the council abide by the law.
Our mandate as the regulators of traditional and alternative medicine healing does not include regulation of money doubling or lotto number invocation or what have you. Those practices, if indeed they are existing or are effective or actually in practice, then their regulation might be in the domain of the police.
The council has so far only registered about 4,000 licensed traditional medicine practitioners out of over 40,000 that are currently operating in various parts of the country and in various fields.
If someone goes away for our license and then is alleged to have been involved in that, and when it is proved either by our officers or any other body, we revoke the license when it is valid. Otherwise, we'll wait and make sure that we ascertain the truth or otherwise of the allegations, by which time the license would have expired. So we refuse to renew the license.
Despite being mandated by law to regulate and license all traditional and alternative medicine-related practitioners, some psychics and spiritualists sees it unnecessary to regulate a spiritual activity, although they believe criminals must be dealt with accordingly.
I believe very strongly that I am a psychic. I am born with it. Why should somebody try to regulate what I am born with? When people belong to bodies, I don't have any problem with belonging to body or not belonging to body. I am a born psychic. I am using my psychic knowledge to help myself, my children, and when people ask for my help, yes, I help them. So to say that you are flouting the law and all this thing, yes, maybe, maybe not. Because this work I do here is my private and personal thing until people start to know about me and they are coming to me. And then I'm helping them, and then it got about 6 years ago we started to put a signboard for people.
Until a concise and clear decision is made on who regulates and checks the activities of dubious spiritualists, many young people will continue to fall victim to these money-doubling acts. Alice Aite, GHOne News.
Now, that's some insight for the young people you have across the country to know exactly what is happening in that space and what we can do as far as regulation is concerned. But we continue with other stories we have on the bulletin for the evening. Now, it has become the strategic achievement of rich nations over the last several hundreds of years to create high-quality manufacturing sectors in order to develop the national wealth and create power. But for a middle-income country like Ghana, a conscious effort is needed in order to achieve this goal. This is evident in the crude methods that artisans of Jamra use to manufacture aluminium cooking pots for decades. Despite the advent of technology, they now want government to turn its attention to the sector. Nabil Ahmed Rufai reports.
In the heart of the Esukuma Odobin Brakwa district of the central region lies Jamra, a small town where residents are mainly peasant farmers. But this town has huge untapped potential in the manufacturing sector. The cooking pot is a utensil which almost all of us have in our kitchen, and we use it anytime we want to prepare that sumptuous banku or any other meal. But have you wondered how the cooking pot is done? Well, join me as I share with you details of how the cooking pot is manufactured here. It's not your typical manufacturing company, but under this small shed, aluminium cooking pots are produced. These artisans use their bare hands to mold the pots out of sand. They make the castings using locally acquired materials. Aluminium scraps are melted in this furnace for at least 45 minutes, after which it is poured into the castings to produce the final product. It takes a lot of manpower and high risk producing these pots, yet the artisans here do not use protective clothing. Medical research shows that exposure to components of smoke and intense heat causes chronic health diseases like cancer as well as lung disease. Abdul Karim has over 25 years experience in manufacturing these pots and heads the company which employs 20 artisans. He says this is the only method artisans in Jamra have been using to produce aluminium pots for decades, despite the advent of technology. What are we seeing now here?
This a pot which has been finished, as you saw in the earlier one.
Where would it be poured?
It will be poured into this hole. Yeah, this hole, this big hole.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Then from there, what will be the next process?
The next process, we will open it. We will open the whole thing from it so that we take the pot from the inside. We take the pot inside from the sun.
From where I stand, I see this to be a very hard work before you get...
It's very hard. It's very hard. The work is very hard.
One of the artisans, Abdullahi, wants government to consider establishing a factory for the manufacturing of aluminium pots in Jamra as part of its one district, one factory policy.
My age man about 30 years, and so she knew because you tofu na I don't know sky at the bay man so she cry.
So far, there is no clear roadmap on the one district, one factory policy, although government says at least 173 factories are ready to be rolled out. Out of the 173, 80 of the factories are expected to be in agro-processing and 62 in manufacturing. According to government, 65% of the projects are expansions of existing factories that had collapsed or were under-functioning, while 35% will be entirely new projects. Of the 75 new factories to be established by government under the one district, one factory policy, it remains to be seen whether the wish of residents of Jamra to have an aluminium pot manufacturing company established in the Esukuma Odobin Brakwa district will be captured. Nabil Ahmed Rufai, GHOne News.
You're watching News Tonight. We'll now turn attention to health. Officials at the Bumprugu Yoyo district in the northern region no longer have to travel long distances to sterilize surgery equipment after nearly every procedure. Breast Care International, a non-governmental organization, has donated autoclave sterilizers for such purposes at Bumprugu Health Center and one other facility. Ultimate FM's Isaac Bediako has more in the following report.
Bunkrugu Yoyo is one of the most popular districts in the northern region. In 2010, population and housing census puts the number of residents there at 122,591. The locals here are mostly farmers who grow crops and rear livestock. The health needs of this facility are catered for by the district health facility. The facility also serves other communities in this area. However, it is ill-equipped. Any major surgical procedure is an arduous task, a situation the hospital staff describe as unfortunate and a threat to healthcare delivery. The advent of the autoclave sterilizer means long journeys to Tamale after every surgical procedure are a thing of the past. CEO of Peace and Love Hospital and founder of Breast Care International, Dr. Beatrice Wiafe Ade, during the donation called on government to abolish the taxes on the importation of hospital equipment.
We've been pleading over the years that when the donations come, they should let us clear them without the taxes, without the duties, without the rent. And these are things that we are not going to sell. So we are still pleading. We've written letters upon letters. The Minister of Health promised to help us, but it hasn't still materialized.
Joseph Sanwok, who received the hospital equipment on behalf of their respective hospitals, told GHOne News they can now heave a relief in the stress they had to go through to ensure the equipment are sterilized.
We are very much happy for what has happened here again today. Supposing we had the equipments available in our respective hospitals, why would we have been here to receive these things to ourselves, which is not for sale? But it is because the institutions are lacking that we have come. For instance, the autoclave that I have just received, my hospital do not have one.
Goso Government Hospital in the Bono Ahafo region also received a sterilizer. Ajeni Boateng accepted the equipment on behalf of the hospital.
Well, we have more stories ahead. Do stay with us. We'll be right back with more news.
The Ghana Trade Fair Company, under the auspices of the Ministry of Trade and Industry and the One District, One Factory Secretariat, welcomes you to the 22nd Ghana International Trade Fair under the theme Industrializing Ghana and Creating Jobs. It will be 1 week of exhibition and enterprise from February 28 to March 7, 2018, offering manufacturers, suppliers, consumers, and various service providers the opportunity to network and make sales. The Presidency urges you to support, partner, and explore the opportunities available.
For inquiries, call 0241-818-658, 0244-173-127, 055-247-4632, or visit tradefairgh.com.
The 22nd Ghana International Trade Fair, industrializing Ghana and creating jobs.
We are different people, but we are all connected by blood. When you save a life, you save an entire generation, including yourself. Be the reason why life continues. Donate blood on the 14th of February 2018 from 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Save a life, brighten lives.
Because of my taste, I'm trusted amongst them all. Others say I taste good amongst them all. Some say I bring out the best amongst every individual and unite people. They've crowned me queen amongst them all. Sophia rice, starchless, highly polished, and comes out one after cooking. Choose the queen amongst them all. Sophia rice, Papanu Jinemusa.
Jame, therefore, ma yawo hui brings you. Na fe yimu so mo kwan.
Say the therefore say no. What aroma? Manento nana say. Insu asem de mo ha na okwa ye ba no. Ye de insu ba.
Ah! Adai. Se waba efie. Ah, what say yen yama mu nsuo num no. Wo so di nsuo ba. Any say.
Nana eti amra.
O therefore,
o therefore, yesre wo. Nsuo we. Eye ahemfu nsuo a ye de afa mfidie mu. Asone so. Aye ne kroji. A Free Kingdom Beverages Limited. King's Drinking Water.
Bye ma. Nsuo na de.
Edampa.
King's Drinking Water. Any na King's Drinking Water.
Ahifusio dede.
You're welcome back to the news here on GHOne Television. Time now to bring you business news, and standing by to do that, it's Kwekutemi.
It's Kwekutemi. Where from there? What's that?
You see, I was
dramatic
trying to
effect.
look for an adjective, something that introduces him in his elegance.
Thank you very much,
What do
Patrick
you have?
Stevenson. I'm told now you're cooking. On Friday, I'll tell you about what you need to get to prepare that delicious meal. But tonight, we're spending time updating you on the State of the Nation address that will be coming up. We'll critically take a look at the economy at the time and what we are to expect the president to say. Away from that, we're looking at petroleum hedging. We have this and other interesting details coming up shortly in business.
Business Brief is brought to you by Dusk Capital. We see a millionaire in you.
Henry, what is wrong with you and your laptop? It is not working.
Hey. What at all is going on in this house?
Your son's laptop is not working and my phone.
Me kai me mo fabrim na me ma me de me ko Freddy's corner enti ene eye manager se me di Freddy's corner ho adanse a kire mabusia na ade ba ko a me kai wo Freddy's corner eye se de wo siti wanim ejeji wo customers. Se eba mobile phone, eba laptop papa, camera papa, ni PlayStation Freddy's corner aha ene wo. Se ko ba to mobile phone say, o camera say, o laptop say, and a PlayStation. Me ha ho bra. Freddy's corner be try you go am. Freddy's corner, your home of authentic mobile phones and accessories.
Sometimes it's gonna hurt. Sometimes you don't feel good as you know you'll feel. But this is what you want, and if you want it, you gotta go hard for it. You don't have to stop. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure.
I don't find time to run. I make time to run.
You are powerful. Feel like a champion.
You better run with more life until you hit that finish line.
When nothing goes right, go run. It's supposed to be hard. The hard is what makes it great. Run energy drink. Run to greatness.
Thank you very much for staying with us on our business segment. Let's take our very first story now. On February 22, 2017, President Akufo-Addo said the Ghanaian economy was in a critical condition, which demanded drastic measures to revive it. While his famous "I am in a hurry" statement directed at the need for accelerated steps to correct the wrongs ranging from excess spending to mismanagement. Well, in our series of stories ahead of Thursday's State of the Nation address, William Evans Inkum takes a dive into how the economy has been managed from some experts' point of view.
I've heard it said that I'm behaving like a man in a hurry. Mr. Speaker, I am indeed in a hurry. I'm in a great hurry.
In his maiden address, the president described the Ghanaian economy as a nightmare.
Mr. Speaker, I say nothing new or dramatic when I tell this House that the economy of our country is in a bad way.
A dissenting response from the minority.
Order. Order.
His reaction.
It's true. You know it's true. You know it's true. Mr. Speaker, order. It appears that my friends on the minority have problem with facts.
Then he buttressed his points with figures.
Fiscal indiscipline once again reared its head in the 2016 election year. Total projected expenditure for 2016 was 443.9 billion cedis. That is 26% of GDP. But actual expenditure amounted to 50.3 billion Ghana cedis. 30.2% of GDP. The full facts of the situation have not been put before the Ghanaian people. It appears from what we are finding out that some 7 billion CDs of arrears and outstanding payments circumvented the very public financial management system that was put in place to prevent such occurrence.
For the new Akufo-Addo government, their preoccupation was to correct the economic wrongs left behind by his predecessor.
I will not allow this economy to collapse under my watch.
In January, the Political Science Department of the University of Ghana released a survey pointing to how well the current administration had managed the economy.
The free senior high school project, many voters indicated that they thought it was a very, very good thing.
Policy think tank Imani Africa's research also pointed to a well-managed economy.
For the exchange rate, we know that there's been a relatively stable Ghana cedi in the year, with a 4.0 cumulative depreciation in 2017 compared to 4.3% during the same period in 2016. The inflation rate is noted to have fallen from 15.4% as at the year-end 2016 to 11.8% as at year-end 2017. We note that the inflation target for the year 2017 was missed. Debt. Concerning debt, we see that there's a reduction in the debt to GDP ratio from 73% in 2016 to 68.3% in 2017. Now, the general proof of macroeconomic stability is that we have received positive ratings from major credit rating agencies.
Beyond that, latest reports from the World Bank also put the country's economy on a positive radar. With 8.3 growth rate, Ghana's economy is considered as one of the fastest growing economies in the world. Next time, we will look at how the performance of the current administration in the area of economic management has translated into jobs.
On Thursday, we'll further break it down for you as we try to gauge the economy and the performance of the Akufo-Addo administration. At the State of the Nation address, which should be your right channel to bring you every bit of those details. But we'll talk more about the economy, and here Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Ernest Addison, has assured depositors that the bank will introduce policies that will protect customers in the event of losing their funds. We're speaking at a stakeholders meeting to deliberate on the deposit insurance scheme. Governor Addison said the move had become necessary in the wake of the collapse of some major financial institutions in the country.
The deposit insurance scheme is expected to cushion depositors against extensive shocks experienced by deposit-taking financial institutions. Project coordinator for deposit protection at the Central Bank, Franklin Benye, told GHOne Business the continuous failure of some financial institutions to protect customers in the face of insolvency in recent history reignited the need for an insurance system. He outlined some benefits of the scheme.
For bank depositors, the limit that you are insured is 6,250. Now, for customers or depositors of the other deposit institutions, that's the savings and loans, the finance houses, the rural and community banks, and the microfinance institutions, the coverage limit is 1,250.
Head of Financial Institutions and Capital Markets Practice Group, Seth Santi, cautioned the Central Bank on areas that needed critical attention.
If you look at the coverage of the scheme, it's not very clear where you have family members being denied coverage simply because a relative of theirs works in a bank, and all those issues, I understand, are now being addressed. So I think over time we will have a much more robust system. But at least as a first step, it's not completely bad. But I think it needs to be continuously reviewed.
We questioned banking consultant Nanotie Champon if some financial institutions could take advantage of the insurance provision to rob depositors of their funds.
That is the moral hazard issue. The moral hazard being that people feel that, well, I'm insured, and therefore I wouldn't even do any minimum amount of research about institution A, which is knocking at my door for my deposit. So that moral hazard is there, and it's one of the disadvantages of deposit insurance. But then, on balance, the benefits outweigh the limitations.
All right, we'll take our final story at this moment, and here the Institute for Fiscal Studies is asking government to consider hedging oil exports against price volatilities. Well, the IFS believes a decision to lock up the price of the nation's share of crude oil outputs from the Jubilee fields and 10 oil fields will ensure that the revenue projections from petroleum are not unduly hampered by the global fall in prices of the commodity.
IFS thinks if oil export is hedged, it will help shield the budget against future revenue shortfalls occasioned by drop in prices of crude oil. In 2016, the nation suffered from a drop in oil revenue due to the failure to hedge against world market price volatilities. It is for this reason that IFS thinks government must take action on hedging the oil immediately.
Currently, Ghana produces nearly 200,000 barrels of crude oil per day, and Ghana's share has risen recently to nearly 20% of this total output, which the country sells on the international market. Ghana, however, is a net crude oil importer, except last year when oil exports exceeded its imports. Without an oil hedging program, the country stands to lose huge foreign exchange earnings from exports when oil price drops on the world market.
Commenting on concerns that a hedging program would cause a country, Professor Kusi said the successful implementation by the Jubilee partners gave credence to the fact that it would only provide a cushion to fall on whenever oil prices drop.
Hedging is an insurance instrument that is usually used to buy protection against risk, and it's not a gamble for futuristic gains. Hedging is not entirely new to Ghana's fiscal management.
We're grateful that you chose us for business. That's about all we have for you tonight. We have more stories coming up anyway. Do stay with us, and thanks to Dusk Capital.
Business Brief was brought to you by Dusk Capital. We see a millionaire in you.
Now, in other stories, the Suhum Police Command have arrested Eric Grusa for attempting to bribe a police officer to help secure the release of a suspect who attempted to steal a transformer belonging to the Electricity Company of Ghana. The suspect, Enoch Tete, 23, a mechanic apprentice, was arrested by the Suhum Police Patrol team when he and his gang jumped off their Kia Pride vehicle.
Other gang members managed to escape, but Tete was arrested. Eric Grusa emerged from nowhere and attempted to bribe the police to free the suspect, but was also arrested by the police. Items such as 3 rolls of coiled copper, screwdriver, a spinner and hacksaw were retrieved. A follow-up to the transformer revealed that it had been tampered with. According to the Suhum Municipal Police Commander, Chief Superintendent Joseph K. Owusu, the suspects are being processed to court. He has meanwhile assured residents that the police will continue in their efforts to clamp down on criminal activities in the municipality.
Protection personnel. So and the police for you now. I'm no case. One case I will come and tell the police for a young pay. But was aside that, and so the South Patrol team.
Well, we continue with the rest of the items we have on the bulletin, and Insight is up next. Now, on Insight this evening, the minority in Parliament today boycotted proceedings during a debate on the report of the Cash Receipts Committee, a special committee tasked to investigate the claim of a sale of access to President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo by the Trades and Industry Ministry during the GIBA Awards. In its 146-page report, declared the Ministry of Trade of any wrongdoing. But even before the report could be properly laid, the minority leader, GHOne Idrisu, had a cause for concern. Take a listen.
The minority leader argued MPs needed enough time to peruse the report before any meaningful debate. GHOne Idrisu consequently led his side to storm out of the chamber.
So, Mr. Speaker, this report is one-sided by the chairman, members of the minority. I'm sorry, Mr. Speaker, will be guided. You can proceed with the motion, but the minority is unable to participate. The report is one-sided and does not serve the public interest of transparency and accountability.
Majority Leader Oseche Mensah Bunsu had strong words for the NDC MPs, accusing them of dishonesty.
Mr. Speaker, I think we must put this out there. This House cannot be held ransom by a single individual who decides to be very dishonest. Mr. Speaker, this House will not pander to pedestrianism.
The Speaker ruled for the report to be debated in the absence of the minority.
Honourable members, you remember, I said, in the interest of the peace and stability of our nation, with a background to what men like Huntington had written, that there must be a calm atmosphere for the development of democracy and development generally. Now, today has come, and those who should help may be present so that we know what has happened, don't want to. Nevertheless, we have a responsibility in the name of democracy to proceed. Honourable Chairman, you may continue.
The NPP MPs had a field day, taking turns to tear into the minority.
Therefore, Mr. Speaker, your committee finds that no credible evidence was laid to establish extortion, notwithstanding the very strong and rhetoric language purporting extortion on the part of the government by the accusers.
This is the industry the committee of this House has to set up, put us to. An 8-inch thick volume of material. And such a matter of public interest, public investment, they refuse to sit down and debate it. It's an affront to the image of Parliament.
Trade Minister Alan Trematin asked for Minority Chief Whip Muntaka Mubarak to be prosecuted for causing financial loss to the state.
It is a matter of record that this august House was summoned on the motion tabled by Honourable Muntaka, not in response to a state of emergency, but to investigate an allegation of the imposition of a levy. Mr. Speaker, the report of the special committee has made it clear that the committee could not substantiate the allegation of levy. In this regard, Mr. Speaker, it may be possible that the associated costs for recalling this House.
Well, that's a very interesting development, but fortunately we have both sides of the House adequately represented here. We have on the minority side the Member of Parliament for Ketu North in the person of Mr. Honourable James Kluche Aveji, and we also have over the phones the Member of Parliament for Adenta in the person of Honourable Yao Boabeng Asamoah. They're going to tell us exactly what has happened on the floor of Parliament and why we don't appear to be seeing eye to eye on this particular Cash for Seeds report. Now I'm going to start with you, Honourable James Kluche Aveji. Why did the minority walk out? Couldn't the minority have stayed and debated the majority on this particular report that was brought to the House of Parliament?
Thank you very much, and good evening to your cherished viewers and listeners. I think that we walk out of the chamber because one basic problem is that this report is not the report of the committee. The committee is made up of 5 members, and by the report here that has been debated today by the majority is a report of the majority. So we cannot call it the committee report. All those recommendations.
Are you saying you did not make any contribution to this report?
No. I saw the report today for the first time. I traveled, that is true, but my colleague, Honorable Dr. Ayene, was there. His view, we have 5 members of the committee. If I am not there, there are many 4 members. Take their input into the report. None of Dr. Ayene's input had been incorporated into the report. So this is a report of the majority side of the committee. We cannot debate a report that does not have any input into it.
Honorable, hold the line for us. Let's take. We'll come back and find out. Honorable, we'll come back and find out what the minority thinks is missing from the report. Let's speak to Yao Boabia Samwa, who also is a member of this ad hoc committee. Yao, thank you very much for your time, Honorable, you too. But tell us, why is it that there is no contribution from the minority members on this ad hoc committee in this report, as they tell us?
Please, can I have that again?
I'm asking, the minority says we do not have any of our inputs in the report after the hearings. Why is it so?
I don't know. Ask them. I don't know. Ask them. This is a committee that was set up at the instance of the minority. And we had to deliver a report within a specified time. We ran out of time, requested a week more, were granted the week. On the Tuesday, the week expired. We were holed up in a hotel, working on the report. This is a 146-page report. First 100 pages, we worked with Dr. Ayene on the report. Then we got to our summary of findings and conclusions. And working according to the rules, we had a draft we could input in. Dr. Ayene took the draft and disappeared. Thereafter, as far as I am concerned, we worked as hard as we could on the report. We were within the short time that Parliament granted us, which was late either the Thursday or the Friday. And the chairman accordingly laid the report of the committee on the given day. So if the minority says that a committee that was set up at their instance, they were not diligent enough to get their input into that committee, why would they expect, and what kind of standing order would they rely on to ask that we take something, a document that has not been examined by anybody except themselves, wholesale, and put it in a report that we had all and we're all supposed to have done together? It is not
Honorable, so are you suggesting that?
I'm not in a position to determine why they chose.
Are you suggesting that there was an opportunity for the minority through its representative in the person of Dr. Ayene to make submissions into the final report and they refused to do that? Is that the suggestion you're making? Hello, Honorable, can you hear me?
Was I being interviewed by a lady or a gentleman?
There are two of us on the program and asking questions concurrently. And so my question is the suggestion that the minority had the opportunity through Dr. Ayene to make inputs, and then he picked a draft copy of the report and never showed up to actually provide substantial input from the minority side. Is that a suggestion?
That's what I'm saying.
Let's take that conversation, that bit of the conversation, to Honorable Aveji. Honorable Aveji, you had the opportunity to make an input, but as we have been told, Honorable Dominic Ayene took the report and never showed up afterwards. What will be your reaction to this?
It is never true. I'm sorry, my colleague member of the committee, Honorable Yabobi Asama, is taking this case. It is never true. When the other minority member, Dr. Yunus, made the observations of the minority and submitted a copy of that observation to the chairman refused to incorporate it. And let me tell my Honorable Abobi that if you go and read Standing Order 210, a member of the committee can make a representation on the committee report, and that representation of the member must be discussed by the committee and incorporated into the report. Dr. Yunus made a representation, that is the observation of our side, and the chairman of the committee refused to incorporate it into the report.
Honorable, what exactly is this observation Dr. Ayene made?
A number of observations. A number of observations. For instance, the chairman of the committee, and for that matter, majority side, are indicting the chief whip and Honorable Ablaka that they submitted or sent them in a document which is a document which they edited or false. My dear, it is never true. Dr. Honorable Yawabi knows very well that when we make the expatriate businesses, Consul Limited submitted the benefit package which was sent to them by Ashim Moses, the organizer of the event. That benefit package was the same as the package which was submitted by the document which was submitted by Chief and then Abaka. Again, Airtel Tigo, they also submitted the same document which was given to them through an email.
And all these were not captured?
They were not captured in the majority report.
Now,
the question is, why haven't they captured it? It is rather Ashim Moses who doctored the document, who edited the document to remove the portion that referred to ministerial status.
Very well. Now, just a final one to both of you. With the turn of events now, one would argue that this exercise of investigating those accusations appear to have been in futility. Honorable Boabi, let me start with you. What's your reaction to that? We may have spent time for nothing because we can't come to a head on this.
But I have deep respect for the Deputy Minority Leader. He is one of my role models in Parliament House. Except that on the interpretation of these events, I completely differ from him. One, the standing order he is quoting, Order 210, the understanding of the House, that today I also picked up, is that the committee can present only one report, but other members of the committee are allowed to write and think and sit down together and incorporate their writing and thinking into that one report. And that, the basic report, is the chairman's report, which is inputted into. And therefore, there is no provision to allow an individual on the committee to disappear, hole up somewhere, write a report, and insist that it should be accepted and attached to the report also.
I see.
So, our timing is not open-ended. We have to file the paper at some point and table it. Because one individual cannot hold Parliament to ransom. Dr. Ayene cannot work on his own time and to the point and then decide that at this point I am done. So committee, come and sit with me. Parliament cannot wait. Parliament is a time-bound institution. Parliament is run on rules and regulations. And therefore, Dr. Ayene, in something, whatever he chose to do at a late hour and insisting that it should be coupled to the original report without interrogation, I am afraid will not.
Honorable Boabi,
as far as we are concerned, the report has been laid, it's been accepted by the House. It is over. The report has cleared the ministry, and indeed, the reason they brought, the motion they brought, they couldn't sustain it. And also hearsay. They say they didn't produce one person.
Honorable,
they talk about extortion. Yes.
We'll leave it here for now. And I'm told that we've lost Honorable Aveji over the telephone. Unfortunately, he can't answer my last question.
It is over. The conclusions of the committee have been accepted by the House. It is finished.
Very well. Thank you very much. Yabuabia Samwa is MP for Adenta, and he was also a member of the ad hoc committee put together to look into matters around selling access to the presidency.
It is very interesting the way this has turned out. Well, we have been asking you questions regarding this development on our regular polls on Twitter. Well, the Cash for Seed Committee investigating extortion allegations against the Ministry of Trade and Industry has cleared Honorable Alan Chiramanting and his officials of any wrongdoings. However, the minority thinks otherwise. What do you make of this? Well, 43% says they trust the final report that the committee has issued, which has been debated in Parliament today. 31% believe they agree with the minority, and 26% say that they take the issue to court. I'm not sure how that is going to pan out, but clearly it appears Ghanaians themselves are quite split on this particular development. Just as Parliament itself appears to be at some sort of a gridlock, and we don't appear to be bringing this to a logical conclusion.
You know, one thing we haven't heard about is what the expert businesses said in
during the committee.
Absolutely. And Ibrahim Al-Hassan is here. Perhaps we'll just ask him quickly from the reports that he has cited. What did they say, Ibrahim?
Well, a number of them, about 10 of them actually appeared in person. A number of them equally forwarded their memoranda via the mail, basically. One stood out, and that is the MD for Japan Motors. For instance, he, according to a report, mentions that when a letter was sent to him inviting him to the program, he saw a portion of the letter indicating the president will be there. So a member of the committee actually asked him a direct question as to whether, to him, that president meant President Nana Akufo-Addo or President Ashim Morton, as it played out during the hearing. And he mentioned that no, his understanding was that it was the president of the land, Ghana, that's Nana Akufo-Addo, who was going to appear at the event. And he refused to pay the said amount because, to him, he believed that if it's an award ceremony, then it must not come with the condition that pay before you are rewarded. So he refused to pay. Consequently, he got another communication from the Millennium Excellence Foundation to the effect that, listen, even though you said you were not going to pay, you've been given an award. So I've come for the event and then come and then take an award. So in a way, he negotiated and managed to beat down the price, he says in the report.
I see. I'm sure there'll be more on this in subsequent broadcasts, but that'll be all for now. Thank you very much, Ibrahim. He's our Parliamentary Affairs correspondent. That'll be all for Inside Tonight.
Entertainment is up next on GHOne.
Daddy Lumba is an unhappy man thanks to Daddy Lumba Jr. Confusing? Yes. That is why the original High Life Kuna wants to make sure his lookalike stroking poster does not even harm his songs ever again. The veteran High Life musician has sued Kwame Anochi, who calls himself Daddy Lumba Jr. for parading himself as a son. His looks, mannerisms, and even the nature of his singing has everything Daddy Lumba. But Daddy Lumba will have none of it. He says the impersonation of Kwame Anoche as Daddy Lumba Jr. has affected his entire brand and business deals negatively. The Yentio Bia composer's suit also states that Kwame Anoche has been taking favors from his fans and other institutions in his name. Well, GHOne has got the t-shirt and the receipts for the High Life icon, and this is where it gets creepy. Kwame Anoche, aka Daddy Lumba Jr., in an interview, worshipped the singer.
Do you think I bet than it to say Lumba is like a mini god for you another? Or yes, say
Oye minyame ketwa asase you oye minyame wa asase so otwedi amponyankopon wo ho ba masase kakra me wo mu de dadi ne minyame.
Lumba has been one of the consistent High Life composers, releasing back-to-back hits and also featuring artists like Oforian Ponsa in the limelight after he...
Shirley, Frida, Na, Adjoa, and Rachel coming over? What to do? No worries. Serve your girls with a 1.5-liter Coca-Cola Valley Pack for 8 Ghana cedis only. Recommended retail price. Now available in zero sugar.
How far would you go to protect your identity and your property?
Oh, as far as original Daddy Lumba is going. Yeah. But that'll be all for tonight. State of Affairs is live this evening at 8:30. My name is Kemini Amano.
And I'm Patrick Stevenson. Good evening and thank you for watching.
Timeless Love is proudly brought to you by GHOne, My Dear Rice, Amalina Children's Haven, Oba Spaghetti, Frito, New Life Cream, Magical, Vivo, and Gandol Cosmetics.